Good morning. My name Shiping Bao. S-H-I-P-I-N-G-B-A-O.
What is your occupation, sir?
I'm the Associate Medical Examiner in Volusia and Seminole counties. In this case, I have 100% confidence this is intermediate range of shooting.
Okay. And when you say intermediate range, what is that range? Are you able to determine or give your opinion as to what the range could be?
By definition,
Yes, sir.
intermediate range is when you see the stippling. So if you see the stippling, it's intermediate range. If it's intermediate range, you need to see the stippling. I look at many books. I try to find out what's the range for intermediate range.
And is that 0.4?
First, I need to explain to the jury.
Yeah, please explain to the jury.
The range of shooting is my opinion, not the fact. The fact is there is defect on the chest, there is a soot, there is stippling. Use this fact, I have my opinion. The fact is different from opinion. For the fact, there is no right or wrong, just truth or false. The fact opinion is very important in the justice system.
Hold on, Dr. Bao.
You have to go ahead and let Mr. De La Rionda ask the question, sir.
Okay. Let me just ask you a question.
Yes.
There are different ranges in terms of, you mentioned contact, and then there's intermediate, and is that range from 0.4 inches to up to 4 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
I
And
look
then
at
there's
many
even longer
books.
than that.
The closest in the book
Okay.
is
And I'm going to ask you about the close in a minute.
the range is not the fact, it's opinion.
Not responsive.
Mr. Bao, you're going to have to wait for Mr. De La Rionda to ask you a question and then provide the answer. Thank you.
I want to explain to you how I did this autopsy, how I determine the range.
Yes, sir. Please explain to the jury.
The
how you got
intermediate
there.
range, when I say intermediate range, is by definition. It's not by measurement. There is no fact, just opinion.
Sure. Are you able to say unequivocally position of the body when it was shot, when he was shot?
I have no fact. I have zero opinion.
Okay.
First, I need to explain to the jury how I have the opinion. Opinion is based on the fact and my lifetime learning experience.
And in this instance, am I correct that Mr. Martin's body remained at the scene prior to it being transported by the livery service for about 3 hours?
I do not have that information.
Don't you have the notes, I'm sorry, from your investigator that went there?
I did not go there.
Right, but do you have the notes that she would have kept about her arrival time and the time
Yeah,
that...
I do. I do have the note.
When her name is Tara Malfers, Tara Clark, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Same person.
Yes.
And what time did she get there?
In the narrative, she wrote, she
No,
arrived.
I don't want a narrative reading. I'd like you just to tell me what time did she indicate that she got there.
Because this is not my writing. I just read it.
No,
It is
what-
not my evidence. It is not my opinion. It is other people's reading. So I just tell you that
These are notes that Ms. Malfers would have made in connection with the work that she did on behalf of your office.
yes.
And-
it is not part of the autopsy report.
Correct, but you have access to these notes. In fact,
Yes,
you
right
have,
here. I
you
read
have
to
them
you.
with you.
Yeah, I cannot remember these numbers.
Agreed.
Yes.
The question, though, precisely is, what time did she get there?
If you want, you can read the note.
No, the question is
This is not my note.
I,
Could be wrong. I'm under the oath, right? If I give you wrong information, it's perjury. You
Yes.
understand?
uh,
Do you understand? I'm under the oath. I
yes,
cannot give you wrong information. So it is not
Here's-
my note.
Let me
Yeah.
ask this question to try to clear that up.
Okay.
Assume, for your answer,
Yes.
that the event occurred about 7:15.
That's what you said. I don't know. I really don't know the
Please.
information, the timeline at the scene.
Yes. please assume that the event occurred about 7:15.
Yeah, if you are right. Okay.
So just as a rough time frame, 7:15 is when the event occurred, correct? For our purposes.
I don't know.
I'm not asking you to agree, I'm just asking you to assume that that's when the event occurred.
Okay, you can assume that.
Yes. And Ms. Malfers arrived at the scene about 2.5 hours later, correct?
I don't know. Again, I do not have the information. You cannot ask me yes or no question.
Based upon her notes that are part of your record,
Okay.
she says that she arrived at the scene at 21:44.
Yes.
That's
this is
about
right here.
That's about 10:15. And that's
Okay.
about 2.5 hours after the event, which we have assumed for our purposes occurred at 7:15.
Okay. It's not yes or no. I just say okay.
Mm-hmm.
Please rephrase your question.
You cannot ask me a question. I don't know. If it's yes, it's wrong. It's no, it's wrong.
Well, you know the hands weren't bagged, correct?
Yeah, that's the one I know because I did not see that.
Uh-huh.
I was told, again, I do not have any recall. I do not have any memory of the day of autopsy. I cannot answer your any question about that. All I hear is the notes I have. Okay.
Let me be sure I understand what
Without
you're saying.
notes, I cannot tell you any fact. Without notes, I cannot tell you any opinion.
Okay, what you're saying today, and to me, and to the
Yes.
jury,
Yes.
is that you have no memory
Yes,
of any of the events surrounding the autopsy itself.
yes. I
that
tried
correct?
very hard.
Is that true?
It's true, 100% true.
Okay, we
Okay.
have to, and I've said this before, we have to allow the court reporter to take one person speaking down at a time. So if you will please, after your question, allow Dr. Bao to answer. Dr. Bao, after you have answered, wait for the next question.
Okay,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
you
So,
may
I
proceed.
explained to
Thank
you
you.
why
So-
this happened.
Wait,
Let-
again,
Let me tell you why.
stop.
May I ask the question, Your Honor?
Yeah, I need to answer your first question.
Okay, Dr. Bao, please wait, there's another question. If he has not finished answering the
Yeah.
first question, he will be allowed to do so. So please wait for your question until he finishes his answer.
Okay.
Could
I
we
tried.
Could we read the question back? Because I think it was a yes or no question.
I didn't explain to the jury why this happened.
Your
Why?
Honor, may the witness
Why
please...
I cannot remember anything on the day of autopsy and other people can remember. So I did intensive study and I tried many times myself. 2 days or a few days before your deposition, which is 9 months after my autopsy, I came to my office
Your
from
Honor,
8 a.m.
I'm
to
sorry,
8
this is
p.m.
not responsive to the question.
Yeah, I explained why I did not remember. I put everything in front of me, the autopsy report,
Your Honor, would
the notes,
court
the
please
photos.
ask the witness to
I tried very hard. I cannot
respond
remember.
to the question?
Once more, we cannot interrupt each other. Dr. Bao, are you finished with your answer?
I need to explain to the jury.
Okay, but you have, so we're ready for the next question. Okay,
No.
so please allow
Okay.
Mr. West
Next
to,
question. I do not remember anything. Zero.
okay, and we
Anything
understand,
on the day of autopsy. I depend on my notes.
we understand, sir. Please stop speaking so Mr. West can ask the next question.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, go ahead.
We
Yeah.
take photos.
May I interrupt a moment
Okay.
to ask a more precise question?
Okay.
Because I don't think this is responsive.
Now we have 3 people, now I'm speaking, so it's 4 people speaking at a time. Please state your objection.
I assume the body is removed from the bag?
Yes, our bag is removed from the body.
All right. So you don't know if you witnessed any of that, you just know at some point...
I was there. I should be there.
Mhm.
I believe without the fact, it is my opinion, I should be there.
Oh, I agree, you should have been there.
Yes.
So, you're not sure if you would, you believe you were,
Yes.
and then do you know what happens to the clothing at the point that it's removed from the body?
I told you I did not remember anything, and I need to explain to you why I did not remember and other people remember very exactly what happened 2 years ago.
If you would
I
just...
thought my brain is not too bad, so I did research about the
Your
memory.
Honor, may I ask a specific question? and elicit a specific answer?
You asked me the question, I
Yes.
don't know.
What I want to know in this case
Yes,
was the clothing removed and packaged in paper bags.
I don't know, but should be, like
You-
what you said.
It should have been.
Yes,
And you knew that the sweatshirt was damp.
I saw it from the photo. All my memory is new memory. Okay.
So, in other words, you know from your training and experience as a medical examiner
Yeah.
that if clothing is wet, it needs to be packaged in paper bags.
Yes.
And if if plastic bags are
Actually,
used,
before we pack them, we let them dry a little bit. Yeah, this case, I do not remember. I cannot tell you anything
you do know
beyond
though,
my notes.
you do know though from the photograph of the sweatshirt,
Yes.
the hooded sweatshirt,
Yes.
that it looks wet.
Yes.
So it would be inappropriate and a violation of protocol to take a wet sweatshirt and seal it in a plastic bag.
There is no plastic bag other than plastic bag carry the body.
Are the notes different than the report itself?
No different.
So the autopsy report are the notes that you're talking about?
Yes. Before I come here, I spent hundreds of hours. Review the photos, review my notes. All the things I tell you today is based on my notes. It's new memory. It's not the old memory on the day of autopsy.
Are you,
I don't believe anybody can remember anything 2 years ago. I did research about that. The memory could be false memory, old, confused memory, recent.
are you
memory.
reading from something now?
Yeah, I wrote that. I typed that myself.
May I see what you're referring to, please? May I approach the witness?
Because I puzzled by that. I could not remember the thing, and other
Yes.
people can.
Your Honor, may the witness not answer until I've had a chance.
Okay.
Yes.
Show me what you're looking at.
Before this testimony, I told you I spent hundreds of hours. I typed down potential answers to your potential question. This is my notes.
May I see them, please?
I rather you do not see. This is my notes. Nobody saw that before. I thought it's
Dr.
mine.
Bao, if you're going to be reading from your notes, both attorneys are entitled to see what you're reading from.
Okay.
So please
No
allow him
problem.
to do so. You may approach the witness.
You want to see this one?
All of the notes that you prepared in anticipation of your testimony today.
Okay, so you will return to me as soon as possible.
Your Honor, perhaps it would be convenient if we made a copy for counsel. I can continue with some questioning, and then we can look at them at our leisure.
You've got people here behind you. You can make a copy if you wish.
So they come back the copy? It's my note. I typed myself. Nobody read it before.
Okay. These are not the actual report that you rendered.
No,
Are the notes different than the report itself?
no different.
So the autopsy report are the notes that you're talking about?
Yes,
These are not the actual report that you rendered.
no, it's my personal note. I use my own time in the evening, weekend.
Okay.
I type these
Counsel would
notes.
like to take them and sit down and look over them. You may do so and return them to Dr. Bao.
So something funny there?
There's no
Something?
question pending, just, we'll wait till there's a question, please.
Something funny in my notes. So is this the only time you can read it?
I'm sorry?
Or is this the only time they can read it, or you're...
Yes, sir, they're going to read them now, and then they will be returned to you.
Okay.
Your Honor, we're close to the lunch hour, so I'm going to request that we have a copy
No,
of
you
the
cannot.
note.
It's my note.
I'm going to ask the court for a copy of these. I'm going to want to have an opportunity to review them more carefully, and have an opportunity to question Dr. Val specifically about them, but I need a little time to do that.
I understand you're concerned about the notes. What I'm going to do is ask that the clerk make a copy of the notes. The attorneys will be instructed that those notes are not to be shared with anybody else, and after they're finished with their questioning, your notes will be destroyed.